Yeah, I did. Hey, what's up, guys? It's another episode of Off the Post. I am your host, DJ Red Cap, Fred Durst, Red, White, and Blue Cap, actually, today, and we are all happy right here. As you can see, we have all these panelists wearing blue, and I'm the only one that bought a white jersey, so I'm going to throw this away, burn it or something, and get a blue jersey pretty soon. Even though mine is in the mail, you won't even guess the name of the back. Graham knows what I bought. And so, guys, we are happy, right? Everyone's happy. Everyone's smiling. We got the win yesterday. We did exactly as we thought, but we didn't do it. Well, we actually scored more than any of us thought. The only person that called a hat trick was Jen Hayes, so you all can thank her for that amazing psychic prediction. Other than that, we do actually have a winner for the contest, so the contest that Jen Cooper was going to give the program to. Someone got close to the score, so we say close is good enough. Bye-bye, Graham. We'll see you again. Come back another day. I'm guessing his thing blacked out. All right, he will be back shortly. Let's go through all the panelists while Graham figures out his technical difficulty. Karen, how are you doing today?
I am so awesome. I have like a excitement hangover from yesterday. Doing awesome.
It's understandable. I think everyone's a little excited right now. Jennifer, how have you been doing?
Yeah, you know, there was this thing on TV yesterday, something that the women were doing. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah. Nah, I don't know.
I don't pay attention to women in sports typically.
Yeah.
So I guess you were watching that while the rest of us were probably watching the baseball game, because it was Sunday night baseball night, so I think most of our attention was on that, Jen. Sorry.
NASCAR.
Frida and Venus, you know, they played earlier today. You guys were pre-gaming for that. I get it.
Understandable. And Jackie, what have you been up to?
I'm Jackie's.
Oh, sorry.
This is awkward. You go first.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing great now, you know.
It was a great weekend for you, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
And then let's go to someone you haven't seen in a while. We're going to call her, I guess, Jack Brass. We'll just call her Jack. Yeah, all right, that'll work. Because we got Jackie and Jackie. So Jack and Jackie. There we go. So
Yeah.
what's up? What up, Jack?
Call me Jay or something. I don't know.
Call me Jay. Okay.
Call me Jay.
What have you been up to, Jack?
Running on 2 hours of sleep. It has been an incredible weekend. I was lucky enough to be in Chicago for that amazing watch party yesterday. Celebrate with some awesome fans. And out-of-body experience. A spiritual event took place in Lincoln Park yesterday at that watch party, and just so happy for the USA getting that 3rd star.
Yes, we are all happy about the 3rd star. Hopefully Graham will come back to us. As you know, if you are watching right now, please use the hashtag WillSoTalk on Twitter if you have any questions. If you have any other questions on the Facebook crowd, you can just post something on our page, because we actually have a little page that you can post on. Other than that, we're going to talk a little bit of NWSL, because we haven't forgot about that league, even though most of you have. Shame on you for that. And then we're going to talk about the 3rd place game. Then we're going to jump right into the Japan versus USA beatdown. So let's start with a little bit of NWSL real quick, just so we can remind the fans that there's actually a league, because when I was watching on ESPN, there was a lot of the sportscasters stuff talking about it. They said there's a league, and we don't even know the name of it. I was just yelling NWSL at the screen the whole time. Like, yes, there is a professional league that these girls play in. So let's go, if you can, we'll just talk about games that you might have seen this week, and what did you think of it? What NWSL game did you watch, and how was it?
The one that I paid the most attention to was the Seattle Reign, and now I don't even remember who they played. Washington, no, New York. Flash. Thank you. Okay. I'm really good at this. Apparently my mind was elsewhere. But I did watch it, and it was a legit game. I was a little bit disappointed in Reign. I think their away performances have been a little bit sketchy this season. So they were a little bit slower than I expected them to be. But it was a pretty good game. And I think Flash had a really good turnout.
Let's go to Jennifer. Jen, Carl, what game did you watch, and how was it?
I watched my Spirit get walloped. That was a rough game. They look really disorganized. I don't know if it's because it was like Crystal Dunn's birthday that they were all partying too hard or whatever, but it That was a rough game. Like, normally I like to say whoever wins the game won the game. Like, I would normally say that Kansas City won that, but the Spirit definitely lost that game. Like, that was on them. They did really badly. So, what are you going to do? We'll make up for it after our bye week.
JP15, what game did you watch?
Yeah, I also watched the Seattle game. No surprise there. I think the Flash, they've been playing pretty well actually, but with Mewis and Lynn up top really scoring all the goals. But again, it's the rain and it's hard to get past their team. They're pretty stacked. So I thought it was a fair result, honestly. They got that late goal by Lynn Williams, so I mean, I think it was fair, but of course I'd rather have 3 points. But Flash are now, in 5th place, so we're climbing up the table pretty quickly here.
Oh, people talking about climbing up the board. I wouldn't know the feeling. And Jack, what game did you watch?
I unfortunately really didn't catch much this week. My Chicago Red Stars did not play this week, unfortunately. I just was able to catch some of the scores and see how the table kind of shifted a little bit. Portland and Kansas City getting 2 big wins, right, as their national team players come back. They definitely, both of those teams needed wins as they really suffered without their national team players. So I think Portland is sitting second to bottom, and Kansas City is just right above them. So I think those teams definitely need a little bit of spark. Hopefully with their national team players they can get some momentum building going forward. Seattle climbed right up there, I saw, and tied for Chicago in 1st place with 18 points. But again, Chicago had that bye week, so hopefully they can come out strong when they play Houston and put themselves back in a good position to reclaim that lone spot up top.
And Graham, what game did you watch?
I'm assuming we're talking about NWSL here.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the whole
The introductions and everything. We went wild, man. You missed it all.
We were doing shots. You missed it. We were all doing shots, and it was crazy.
For sure. No more of those.
That explains the slurring. I thought it was lag on my computer.
What game did you catch, sir?
I didn't catch any games. I was working all weekend with the exception of yesterday.
Oh, so you took off the best day or had the best day off, right?
I switched shifts, so I made sure I wasn't missing the national game.
Well, I guess it's my turn to talk about a game. Other than that Portland game, which I won't talk about, I didn't watch any other ones because I wanted to watch Portland versus Sky Blue, and I was disappointed as usual. So we're moving on. All right. We will go to the 3rd place game. It's England, a game that didn't disappoint me because I had England making it this far. They were my dark horse team, as I chose in the show way long time ago. 25-1 betting odds, people. You should have bet on them. It would have been a good chance to take. All right, but enough of that. So let's start with you again, Graham. What were your thoughts on the England versus Japan game? Germany. I keep putting Japan in that game. God, I wanted them to play in it.
Another game I didn't get to catch. I rewatched though. Very pleased with the results. I was rooting for England as well. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say on it other than I'm very happy with the turnout, and I think that the Lionesses got what they deserved. So.
Jackie or Jack? Oh, this is gonna be a mess.
J.
J1 or JB? JB?
No, I again, I'm also happy with the way England played. It continuously grew throughout this tournament, and the pinnacle for them was that 3rd place match, beating Germany for their first time in the World Cup there. And Germany, I think, after that loss to the U.S., where they played extremely uncharacteristically, they did not play like themselves, a strong German machine, and I think their confidence just kind of got shaken against the U.S., and in that 3rd place game, it just kind of all spilled over and kind of went down the drain, unfortunately, for them in England. Like I said, as they grew throughout the tournament, both offensively and defensively, they were just able to strike Germany at a fortunate time for them and pick up their first medal in a World Cup in the World Cup. So very happy for England. I'm excited to see what Mark Sampson will do moving forward with that team, because you see they have some potential. They're a little bit of a younger team. 4 years from now, they will definitely be the team to watch. We can even be seeing them going. We could even see them going far in the Olympics next summer. So interesting to see what the future for England holds. And Germany, you hope, or maybe you don't hope, can regroup from this kind of shamble that their World Cup turned into and regroup.
Yeah, as you said, for England, it seemed like they had a really young team, and the players got a lot of play time, so it was good to see that. A lot of them, some of them made impacts, like Fran Kirby. Duggan, I didn't think had too good of a World Cup, but she still did get a lot of playing time, so it's going to be good to see what they look like, a lot of these players in 4 years. J15, what were your thoughts on the game?
I mean, I was very happy that England won. I thought they played the better match overall. And I think they proved that, Germany are not the #1 team in the world. I think they should be out of the top 5, honestly, after this. Yeah, England, very, very happy, and they have a lot of young players, like Jack said, Kirby, Carney, Steph in the back was really holding it down. I was very thrilled with this performance. Yeah, the coach did a great job, I think, using all those players, and yeah, I'm glad Germany lost.
She said, I think they need to be out of the top 5. Whoa, okay. Jennifer, let's go. What were your thoughts? Do you hate Germany that much?
No, I don't.
No.
It's kind of actually the opposite for me. Sorry, I know I'm the one panelist. There's got to be that one.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, I was so torn on this one. I really was, because normally I would pick any team over England, but that whole Laura Bassett situation, I was like, man, come on, now I got to cheer for England. You guys are messing me up. All right. So, I was kind of cheering for England a little bit until Leanne Sanderson came off the bench. Then I was like, all right, time to start cheering for Germany. So, I'm kind of happy that England won. I guess I wish it would have ended in a different way, though. I never like to see a game end on penalty kicks, but I guess it's better than a game ending on an own goal. So I guess for me, the worst part was knowing that this was Nadine Angerer's last World Cup game. Yeah. So, because I'm a big fan of hers. But, yeah, I was okay with it.
If you guys didn't know already, some of you viewers, she is the only anti-England panelist on here. How she made it to this show, I do not know, but we accept her nonetheless. Karen, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I know, like, the last episode of Off the Post, we were all like, yeah, we want England to win, but Germany's going to win. And now I feel bad, because I should have had more faith in England, because they were amazing, and I think Germany really stepped down a level even from the game against the U.S. And also, besides being impressed with the coach and the way that he used the players, the way that he subbed, the subs that he used, the people that he took out were just brilliant. But the fact that England were able to come off of that game against Japan with that horrible loss in an own goal, and they were able to just pick themselves up and beat Germany, who was ranked #1, who everybody thought was just going to run away with the game. That was just so impressive. I was really happy with them. And I don't hate Germany, but I did want England to win.
Well, now it's my turn to brag about some stuff I pointed out about that game. As you remember from the last episode, I called the score 1-0 England. Well, England won 1-0, so I felt good about myself about that. That's a little bit of bragging right there. I told you which German player to look for, a young player, when we did the World Cup review of all the across the ponders. I said to Debritz. She actually had a pretty good World Cup too, so I'm 2 for 2 with that. Even though I'm like 13 losses probably for everything else dealing with this World Cup. Houghton, she had a great World Cup. I thought her and Bronze, they had a really solid back line. A lot of those players. It was weird to see Bronze because they played her in a lot of different positions, but she probably made a name for herself for a lot of people that didn't know much about her. Other than that, there was, like I said, there was a lot of great individual performances by the English players. Carney made more of a name for herself on the world stage. I was shocked that I was just about to say Jodie Taylor. You sort of right on my mind. I was shocked she didn't get the start. because she actually had a really good World Cup every time they played her, and she seemed like their best striking option compared to Ellen White and Luco, who to me like she has pace, but other than that, like I said, when she gets the ball, you don't know what can happen. But overall, it was a great World Cup. Germany got embarrassed. It could be right there with Sweden, with some of the two teams that disappointed us this World Cup. By far, they got bullied that game a lot of times too because the ref they said was mad about not calling the final. So Germany got bullied around, or just a lot of fouls weren't called because Alec Greenwood basically tackled a girl and got away with it, which we all kind of laughed at. But I was with England, so I thought all the calls were fair. It was a fair game, and everything went the way I wanted. So that's enough of that. And we will move on to the game you care most about. The final with the U.S. Women's National Team versus Japan. As you know, Japan got there with their knockout stage games being against Netherlands, Australia, and England, a game which I thought they should have lost to England, but I'll forgive them for that one. And then U.S. Women's National Team got there by playing against Colombia, and then they decided to play good the rest of the tournament against China and Germany. Then we got to this game where Japan got beat badly. As I like to say, they got the bricks beat off of them. So we will start with you, Karen. What are your thoughts on that game? First, we'll start with your expectation going into it.
Okay, all right. Man, you introduced me, and then I was gonna like explode, and now I have to like pull it back. Okay. My expectations were that we were gonna win for sure, but the way that we won, I was not expecting that. I was expecting I think I probably said something like 1 or 2, maybe 2-0 again.
Yeah.
And once we started really scoring, though, I knew that Japan was going to get at least one because they needed that. But yeah, I was expecting to win. I was expecting Japan to come out really hard. I was expecting for us to go like 0-0. And then go into the overtime, and then probably have to go into penalty kicks again because that's just the way things work all the time with this team.
Yep.
But man, I was not expecting what happened at all.
Jen, your expectations going into this game?
Well, first off, all right. Now that we're talking about the U.S. Women's National Team, I made a deal. I got to live up to it. It's not going to be all like Brandi Chastain epic, but I did make a deal that I would do this in my sports bra, so I'm going to. Jen Scott, here's your shout out. I'm sorry it's not epic. So we're taking off the Tobin jersey here.
Well, it's happening. We said it was going to happen. Right. We said we were going to jump the shark, and we just jumped the shark right now.
Children, maybe check with your parents. This is not time PG.
It's gone wild up in here.
The little PG 15-year-olds are turning it off. All right, continue.
Got the Washington Spirit logo. Yeah, no, my expectations, I agree with Karen. Like, I knew we were going to win because I'm an American, not like DJ.
Everyone calling me out on that. Everyone's been calling me out. Continue.
But I definitely did not expect the way we won at all. Like, I think I knew Carly Lloyd was going to get one in, and I've been calling from the beginning of the tournament that Tobin Heath had one in her, so I was happy to see that finally, but to have 4 goals in 16 minutes was just insane, so I definitely didn't expect that, but I always expected a win from us. I think I had called 2-0 too, so,
yep.
I mean, that's kind of where I was at.
Quick rebuttal for myself. I love all things English and a little bit things German, so forgive me if you guys already know some of you viewers, but let's continue on. Jay, your thoughts on the expectations going into the game?
Yeah, I actually thought we would get an early goal, which we obviously got a few of those. But yeah, I mean, that was a dream start, and I honestly thought we'd be a bit nervous. I mean, I know I was. I thought it would take 20, 30 minutes to maybe kind of settle down, find our rhythm, kind of figure out this, Japanese defense. But, I mean, we completely dismantled them. So I'm still in shock. So, yeah.
We will go with Jack. Your thoughts?
I still called this 5-2 game. Called the Carly Lloyd hat trick, goal first play. I long before this game started. I'm with Karen and Jennifer here. I called about a 2-1 scoreline for the U.S. Definitely had confidence in them winning this game. I just thought Japan will put up a little bit more of a fight. I think just unfortunately with those 4 quick goals, Japan was just decimated after that. Yeah. They did pull a couple back. I think unfortunately that was a little bit more on the U.S. defensive lapses than Japan having quality pressure up front. Granted, they played a very good game. They did get a couple chances in. I just think after those 4 early goals, Japan was just they were done. You could have called the game there. Did make it interesting at one point, like I said, with a couple defensive lapses on our part, but Carla Lloyd, you got to give it up to her. Just a force of nature, unstoppable, unimaginable performance from her, and just so happy for her and the entire U.S. team to pull off such, not just a victory, but a victory in such a decisive and complete way, to play their best game of the tournament in the final, to win in such a dominant way is speaks volumes to me.
And Graham, your expectations going into it?
I got a couple things right and a couple things wrong. I called a 3-1 scoreline, so I got Japan's goal correctly. I did say Carly Lloyd would score 2. Didn't think she would score 3, so I apologize, Carly. In Spain, ice in the veins and the definition of clutch. So when it comes to big games, I guess there's really no one better that I would want up front. Yeah, I was very impressed with the game. I had a couple of my friends show up late to the bar, and when they got there, they're like, 4-0? What is happening? I'm like, yeah, I've been hoisted a couple times by people I don't even know, so it's an interesting match. I had a lot of fun, and I couldn't have even imagined that, and the amount of pride I feel for the team to win the way they did. To come like, we're not letting what happened in 2011 happen again, and just end the game in 20 minutes practically was just amazing.
Yeah, it was like when I was looking at what I expected, I knew they were going to win because it was just like their form that they were coming into, like going into that game, their form was just so much like better looking than Japan coming into that game. I like I said, what's that, Graham?
I don't think there was any doubt from anybody that the USA was going to come away with it.
Yeah.
But to come away with it the way they did was just jaw-dropping.
Oh, it was so shocking. It was absolutely shocking.
The 50-yard goal from Carly Lloyd for the hat trick was just what?
You didn't see that coming?
I didn't see that. That was Megan Rapinoe cross to the forehead, like moments of just what?
Oh, it was such a shocker because when it happened, I bet you everyone was like, "What just happened?" Like, oh, my social media just blew up.
Look up at half field and go, "Yeah, they're gonna take the shot. She's off her line. Let's put her up and see what happens." It's just amazing to me.
Back to you, Jay. What were your thoughts on the first half? I mean, I guess we're all going to have positive thoughts about the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first 20 minutes, I was in shock, but eventually I started breathing, and I kind of started to watch the game a bit more. But I'm very pleased with Morgan Bryant, actually. I think she's really stepped up in a massive way, and, you know, I think Ellis proved that putting Lloyd, you know, higher in the attack is very rewarding. So I think, you know, with her 3 goals, and I think Japan scored in, the 27th minute, and we were like 1 minute off the record, I think. A bit disappointing, but still, you know, our defense kind of had a lapse for a second. But, yeah, the first half was amazing to watch, and it was really, you could just see their desire and their want to win this game in the right way, you know, and they eventually started having fun, and, you know, everyone kind of was just enjoying it. It was a very good first half.
I remember something I kept saying to myself when I finally got to sit down and watch it was it looked like a mismatch. I was thinking like this was like my high school team versus the U.S. women's national team, and they were just out there getting smoked. You know, it was just such a big discrepancy between talent when you were watching the two teams, and it was just like there's no way Japan's not going to let up 20 goals this game. Jennifer, your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, you know, I echo everything that Jackie just said, but then for me, I mean, I was messaging you at the time, and you were 8 minutes behind, and I was like, no, you need to catch up now. Like, catch up.
I know.
Because you're missing everything in the first, like, 16 minutes. Like, go, catch up. But, I mean, it was around us, like, 2 shows ago that I said I feel like this team just is holding back and they're just, like, messing with us. And they would come out and just, like, destroy everybody in the end. And I was sitting there like, oh my god, was I right? What's happening? What's going on? It was incredible. It was absolutely insane. And, you know, we can talk all day about Carly Lloyd and her hat trick, but Lauren Holliday's goal was actually really nicely done too. There's not,
that was a nice goal.
Other than that one little lapse in our defense where Japan happened to get in there and score, I really can't see a bad performance from any player on our team in the first half, and I mean, that's what made the difference. They knew where to feed the balls, they knew who to feed them to, they knew how to get in behind that back line, and they did it. Sometimes that back line was up at the 50-yard line, and they still got behind it. So, hey, you know, whatever works.
Yeah, and the reason why I missed the first 8 minutes, if you need to know, people, since she called me out like that, is because I was getting my nachos. She told me to get nachos, so I decided to go get nachos. And I got some cookies, too, on the side, and I got a nice treat. So that's why I was 8 minutes. My dad was blowing up my phone with social media. Oh, my God, oh, my God. I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. So I got to catch up at halftime, and yeah, everyone was blowing me up. You all were just killing my phone. The battery died. Goodness.
You're welcome.
Karen, we hear thoughts on the person.
Yeah, I think I kind of broke my phone while watching that game. Like, my phone is kind of broken right now because I was just like tweeting and texting everybody. And it was like, I was texting, I was so excited about Carly's goal in like the 3rd minute. I was like, already, oh my god. And then she scored again, like right after that. And I was like, I need to like, I don't know, should I like tweet this or should I backspace and tweet another one? Like, what do I do? And I was so confused because it just happened so fast. And then the Holiday goal, and then Carly's I almost said half court, like this is basketball, but like it's way more impressive than a half court basket because it was, what, like 57 yards or something like that? Who even thinks to take that? Who even thinks, I'm going to do this right now in the World Cup final? And then she actually, like, sank it. It was ridiculous. Yeah, we were all screaming in my house. We were freaking out. The dogs were barking. It was insane. It was, like, the best first half I've seen them put on. And that's saying a lot because last episode I was saying the first half against Germany was the best half that I'd seen. No, this blew that out of the water. It was insane. I don't know what was going on with Japan. I think they were just shell-shocked like everybody else.
They got shell-shocked. It really was like that because it seemed like I think I told it to Eugene. I said after the first 15 or 16 minutes, the game was over because they got hit so hard. It was such a barrage by the U.S. that the game was over. I was like, there's really nothing else to watch unless you're watching for like maybe 1 goal or 2 goals from Japan and a goal from us. We hit them so hard and so fast. And Carly Lloyd hit them so hard and so fast. There was nothing left. I mean, you could see they were just a beaten team by that point. And then I remember, I think I even got a message from you, Jay or whatever, like, are you watching some message or something? And I was like, the all caps tell me something else good happened or whatever. Like, everyone was so happy. And I was like, I felt happy for everyone. I felt American a little bit, actually, guys. So thank you for that. You guys helped me right there. Jack, do you have anything you want to say about the first half, or you want to move on to the second half?
No, I guess, I mean, they pretty much recapped it all and came out so strong. And to get those goals, like you said, the shell-shocked Japan. I will give one criticism to the U.S., though, in that first half, is after that 4th goal, after about the 20th minute, you could see them kind of take their foot off the accelerator a little bit, which was disappointing to see because you felt like they were scoring goals at will.
Yeah.
And if they would have kept pushing forward, you felt like they could have just kept doing that all game. So it was a little disappointing to see them kind of just take their foot off the accelerator a little bit, give a little more possession to Japan midway through that first half, where they were able then to score their first goal. But other than that, everyone said what really needed to be said there. If you were in Chicago at Lincoln Park, you know what a spiritual event, like I was saying earlier before this show started, it was a spiritual event that took place in Chicago those first 20 minutes, 20,000 some people there, it felt like, and after that fourth goal, I think everyone in Lincoln Park was just, they had an out-of-body experience. They had no idea what was happening. Everyone was kind of looking around at each other like, is this a joke? Like, is this a real thing? Is this can't be a live feed? Like, what's happening? So,
And
just incredible.
you want to finish up on that? And Graham's second half. Let's go to the second half. Since we've harped on the first half beat down so badly, what happened in the second half?
Same thing. I mean, they took their foot off the accelerator for sure. I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure if it was such a bad move to do that though. Not to let Japan back in the game, but not to. I mean, I coach hockey and whatnot, and there's a certain point where you don't just keep scoring on people, especially at such a world stage like that. Obviously, we showed that we can. I mean, we'll put one in the box, it'll go 20 feet in the air, and then we can volley it in, and we can make it from half field and all this other stuff. I think we more than proved ourselves, and I definitely still think we brought the ball upfield to strike. I sort of wanted that Morgan Bryant shot to go in. It was a pretty one. I'm like, upper 90, come on. I wanted a goal from her, but I mean, this is a game where possession and gameplay and everything showed on the scoreline, where in the Germany game, I think, should have shown more that the U.S. dominated play. So, yeah, I definitely think we went in with the chip on our shoulder. We weren't going to let 2011 repeat, and Harley Lloyd just icing the veins, dominance, and then, I mean, I feel like a broken record here between everybody else. What more needs to be said?
Oh, it's just so easy to talk about it because it's like the same thing we all saw. We were just like,
everyone's just like, it's just, yeah, it's just one of those moments. I actually had a buddy who was at the game. I was talking to him like, dude, you're going to remember this for the rest of your life, that you were at that game and this took place. Like, that's so awesome. I was just beyond jealous, and I had just a really long day yesterday in general. And, like, after the game, I'm like, I feel like I should be a lot more excited about this than I am. But it eventually came, like, it was just sort of like, did that actually happen? Like, I need to prove this now. Like, did this really happen? And as it slowly settled in, the more excited, you're just like, yeah, this is awesome. So, second half, I mean, obviously less exciting than the first half, but I think from a team standpoint, it wasn't a bad thing to kind of, I mean, Japan being as shell-shocked as they were, the crowd being just in awe, like, is this really happening right now? I think it was good for them to just kind of settle back and take their foot off that gas pedal and kind of calm down as a team too, so that they weren't being like, all right, no, we have to park the bus, and they still took the attack to them, but they didn't just be like, all right, I'm just going to pop the safety off and just fire rifles at you. So, I mean, I don't know what other way to put it. Every shot they were putting was on frame practically, and if it wasn't on frame, it was off by inches. So, I hadn't seen that team since 2012, and I was happy to see them back again.
Yeah, well, I wonder what happened to that team. Now, Jackie, this is a beef I had, and I wondered if you had the same beef. It was Megan Rapinoe's birthday. Should she have played 90 minutes? Say yes.
I don't know. I mean, it was hard for me to see her leave the pitch after, 60, I think.
Yeah.
On her birthday, I was hoping she would score, but she didn't. I don't know. I think she was, I mean, obviously less than 100% healthy, so that might have had a factor. I don't know. God, I wish she would have scored, but yeah, disappointing to see her go out, for sure.
Did you like the substitutions in the second half?
I actually didn't mind when KO and Wombat came in. I kind of was hoping to see Boxy as well, her last go-round, but Ellis didn't think so. But, yeah, I was very happy that KO obviously got on the pitch.
Jennifer, your thoughts on the second half?
Second half is my happy time, man. Like, I know we scored all those goals in the first half, but for some reason, like, the entire Spirit Squadron hates Tobin Heath. I don't know. I don't know, man. So I take crap every week because every single game I wear my Tobin Heath jersey, and I think everybody just kind of stopped and stared at me when that ball went in. So that was nice. I will happily take that. But yeah, I mean, the second half was like everyone else was saying, they did take their foot off the gas, but they still played better than they did like throughout the entire group stage, even with taking their foot off the gas. So I did like the subs. Like Jackie had said, I kind of wish Boxy had gone in, but it was awesome to see Abby and Cap go out like that, Christy Rampone. I thought, for me, the moment of the second half, other than Tobin Heath's goal, was the passage of the captain's armband from one player to another. Carly Lloyd passing it on to Abby, and Abby passing it on to Rampone. I thought that was such a class act from these players. Just recognizing, hey, this is your last shot. No, this is your last shot. So it was really awesome to see that happen on the field, and it just kind of re-emphasized my love for this team and those players and the kind of respect they have for each other. So I really enjoyed the second half too.
Karen, you have any other thoughts on the second half?
Yeah, and you know what? I also did the bet, so I feel like in solidarity I have to have my sports bra as well.
It's like just everybody's going for it now. This show is just...
So, there you go. There you go, Jen.
Just everybody. Just everybody.
I come back and people are taking their clothes off again. Like, what?
Yeah. Okay.
Anything for ratings, people. Let's go.
Viewers just spiked.
So yeah, second half.
It's like...
Actually, I have to give Japan credit because, they could have gone in at halftime and then come out second half and just been like, screw it, like, forget it. But because they're Japan and because they are awesome, they still took it to the U.S. They scored those goals. Actually, they scored, one goal in the second half? Yeah. And you know what? Aya Miyama is a legend. Like, those crosses that she was putting into the box were still, like, the most beautiful crosses I've ever seen in my life from any player. They were amazing, except for Megan Rapinoe's in 2011. That one takes the cake. But, I mean, those were amazing crosses. Japan was still coming at the U.S. Honestly, I thought they were going to score again. I thought it was going to end at, like, 5-3 or something, but our defensive line really tightened up. I think after that second goal, they were like, wait a second, wait. No. No, we're done. So that was exciting to see that Japan didn't just like flat out give up in the second half. And on top of that, I think just our players, just like Jen said, the class acts out there, just everybody was completely respectable. You didn't see any awful fouls. You didn't see any yellow cards in that game, I don't think. Or actually maybe two. Were there 2 Japanese yellow cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were. Okay, so there were yellow cards. But you didn't see any, like, nasty fouls. You didn't see any bad sportsmanship. Everybody was helping everybody else up when they fouled them. It was just, like, such a good half, a good game. And it was so exciting. And also, after the game, when the U.S. formed that tunnel, I had, like, these flashbacks to when I was playing, like, ASO. And you would, like, form a little tunnel and be like, yay! Yeah. It was so cute and awesome to see them do that for Japan and applauding them and stuff because they're all, like, buddies. It was awesome. It was just such an awesome experience.
All right. Let's jump to some of the people that haven't stripped yet. Jack, your overall thoughts on the performance?
That's a big question. With 4 other people here, they really have articulated what took place that entire game. Like Karen was just talking about, hats off to Japan, Hamari Sawa, Aya Miyama, wonderful, wonderful players. And you have such a respect for Japan, even though we beat them the way that we did, even though we lost to them 4 years ago. It's hard to root against Japan. It's hard to not like Japan for having such world-class players, both as as when my computer when I was doing shots. Sorry, everyone.
Calm the nerves.
We have world-class players, both in talent-wise and personality-wise. They're just great players. But overall, it's just you have to give credit to Jill Ellis. I am Jill Ellis's biggest critic. I did not have a lot of faith in her, unfortunately, through the early stages of the tournament. But she found a winning formula. Once we started those knockout rounds, and then stuck to it and managed her team very well towards the end of the tournament. I think Jay was talking earlier. You wish you would have seen Boxy out there make an appearance in her last game. Another small criticism of the U.S. this game is, they had Rampone and Wambach walk up to the podium last and lift the trophy. I feel like Shannon Bach should have been there with them. Gotta give a little love to Boxy. But other than that, it's just we've said this whole time, a dominant, complete performance from the U.S. The best game I've seen out of them in quite some time.
Yep. Any final thoughts, Graham?
I just want to touch on how classy this rivalry truly is between Japan and the United States. The amount of respect both teams has for each other. It's not like your Packers, Bears, or Detroit Red Wings or Penguins, where it's just everyone's out for blood. It's such a mutual respect between these two teams, where no matter what the scoreline is, Japan was there to tunnel us. We were there to tunnel them, going for medals, and Japan actually showed up post game at the fan HQ. So that just speaks volumes for these two teams and the amount of respect that they have, and for women's soccer as a whole.
For me, just the final. Oh, you had anything else, Graham?
No.
All right, good. For me, I knew it was going to take a monster effort for Japan to win, and they just got crushed as expected. But it was a bigger crushing than we thought. We thought like 3-1, as Graham said, a 2-0, nice. We beat them, but looked good while we do it. But we absolutely just demolished them. So props to
how we did it.
Yeah, we did it with style points, so that was nice. I was glad the game ended early because then I could focus on other things. I had books I wanted to read. There was drinks I wanted to mix and everything like that. So thank you, U.S. Women's National Team, for showing the style in the first 16 minutes, and I was able to lay my head down on my pillow and relax because I knew there wouldn't be much else to really write home about. So other than that, it was an amazing performance. I really, like I said, I agree. It would have been cool to see Box get out there. But it was nice that, hey, you threw KO out there because she had deserved to play earlier. I felt like in the tournament we were calling for her to play more, and she ended up being one of the most impactful players in the whole knockout stages. So overall, it was an amazing performance. There's not much else to say. We probably covered everything. But now let's look at the whole World Cup run because it started off a mess, to be honest. Let's go first. What were your thoughts on some of the players who stood out to you? Who was your World Cup MVP?
Who, me?
Karen. We'll go Karen first.
Oh, okay. Sorry. World Cup MVP. Man. You know what? For me, just for the U.S. or the whole tournament?
Yeah, we're going about U.S. stuff right now. We'll let the across the pond deal with all that stuff.
Okay. So, I think on the U.S., I would give MVP to our center fullbacks, both of them. Brune and JJ, and I say Brune and JJ because, well, besides JJ's like small, she has those little mistakes, and it says a lot that Julie Johnston scored an own goal and nobody heard about it because we were all just like, whatever, we scored 5 goals, whatever.
Yep.
Besides the little mistakes that she made here and there, She's 23 years old. This is her first World Cup, and she's put in center fullback, which sometimes is the very last player before you have an opposing striker score a goal. And that is a huge role for somebody that young, and she took it on, and she was a beast. She went straight into any and all headers. She was also an offensive danger for the other teams. She was just a beast. She was amazing. And then as for Brune, she's just 100% consistently one of the best players that we've ever put on the field, honestly. If not the best player that I think we've ever put on the field. And I was really mad that she didn't get nominated for a Golden Ball because she was just so good. She's quiet about it. You don't even know that she's there, but she's making these like amazing stops. I wish somebody would make a highlight reel for Brune. That's like a fan reel because everybody makes, Alex Morgan, Sid, blah, 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 blah. But if she had a highlight reel, you would see some of the best soccer that I think anybody on the team has put out there this whole tournament.
Becky Sauerbrunn, always underrated.
Yep.
Always, yeah.
I agree with that. And just for something I want to say about Brune, for me it was just a shame not to see her on that list. I remember at even earlier times, to me she's world class. That's a world class center back. So it makes JJ's growth even easier because she's playing alongside a world class center back. And it's they're actually perfect together how they play. So JJ's going to grow up and end up being just amazing. If she doesn't even have to be world class, even she has a world class one next to her, so it's going to make her even better and her job easier. So
I want to say, and Dwayne, not to interrupt or anything, there was Kate McGrath did an ESPN conference call before the final, and everyone was asking her about Julie Johnston. How great has Julie Johnston been, her growth and all that? And yes, Julie Johnston has played like a veteran in her first World Cup, and that's great. But Kate McGrath made an interesting analysis, and she said that the reason Julie Johnston has been as dominant as she has been is because of Becky Sauerbrunn. If you look and go back through the highlights, you'll see that Becky Sauerbrunn is the one organizing the back line. She's the one directing the traffic back there, leaving Julie Johnston to simply play good soccer.
Yep.
Yeah.
JJ had nothing to worry about other than to be in good positions, to put her body on the line for the ball. She did not have to do any of the other maybe duties a center back would carry, that would typically carry.
Right.
So I think a huge reason that Julie Johnston was able to flourish like she did in this tournament was because of Becky Sauerbrunn and her ability to just keep her head down, do her work, do her duty, and yeah, she doesn't receive the credit that she deserves, unfortunately, but I don't think for Becky Sauerbrunn she cares all that much. I think for her it's just she has a job and she's going to do it and do it well. And along the way, now she's teaching this young girl, this Julie Johnston, who, I don't want to say it too early, can be a future Captain America for us. That makes a bold prediction, maybe a little naive prediction, but she's teaching this young kid how to play good soccer. And together, I think they could form a tandem that we will see through the next World Cup.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that tandem will be there for next World Cup. Like she said, she made her job easier, but all the credit went to JJ. Graham, your thoughts? Who is your team MVP?
JJ. Or Carly Lloyd. I agree and disagree. I think McGrath's kind of. I just hate her commentary. I agree that Becky Sauerbrunn helped JJ, but I don't think she has 100% of the credit. I mean, JJ led the under-20s to the World Cup and won it. She was the captain of that back line. She led that team. As soon as she was drafted into the NWSL, Rory told her, "What did you do in the World Cup? You commanded back line. Guess what? I'm giving you full control of this back line too." She knows how to play that position, and she has similar instances under. I mean, obviously, this is her first World Cup, but she's played in the under-20s World Cup and whatnot. So, as unfamiliar as the World Cup is to her, she does have a sense of familiarity with it. No disrespect to Brune. She has 100% of my respect. She's the best center back in the world, hands down. But I definitely think JJ deserves more credit for the age she is, for how she played. I mean, she got NWSL Rookie of the Year for a reason. She's just a phenomenal player, and she's heads and shoulders above everybody at her age, hands down. So.
Well, we heard the Chicago people argue over JJ. Jackie, talk about Bruno a little bit.
Yeah, fellow St. Louis native, so
Yeah.
thank you, Becky. Yeah, I think for me, I was torn, but I would have to say Becky, simply because the way she reads the game, if you watch her play, she is phenomenal, and JJ is learning quickly how to play that center back position. But Becky, I mean, she's under the radar, and she's been, I think, 2-time NWSL Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just, I'm so glad that, she's now 30 years old, and she's now getting a taste of what it's like to, be on that big stage, and she's a World Cup champion, and she is the best center back in the world, in my opinion, like Graham said. So I'd have to go with Becky 100%.
You're exactly right. How she reads the game. If you watch how she reads the game, she's not the fastest player, but she's always where the ball's going to go 100% of the time. Always. It's like she just reads it so well, and that's the sign of a great center back. And when she has the ball on her feet now, she looks so comfortable. The game looks slower. Like you see her now. I remember she didn't as much seem like drive the ball forward. We've seen her driving all the way forward on Japan at one point. Such an amazing player to watch. I'm so glad. I always love a great defensive player because they don't get credit, but they can do so much to help a team. Jennifer, your thoughts? Who is the MVP?
I'm actually going to take the other two from the back line. I'm going to go with a tie between Ali Krieger and Megan Klingenberg. Just because, defensively, yeah, JJ and Brune were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about them this whole tournament. But when you look at Kriegs and Kling, working those two flanks, a lot of the speed comes up the flanks. That's where teams try to take advantage of speed and tactics and push up those flanks. And Kling and Kriegs just wouldn't let them. The other thing that I note specifically about the two of them on the flanks is that our midfield was the one thing that kept freaking changing this whole World Cup. Every game, it seemed, we got a new roster of midfielders. And for Kriegs and Kling to be able to stay on those flanks and make it work with whoever was put in front of them in that midfield, to be able to form that kind of communication and to be able to form those passes and hold down those flanks, for me, was just phenomenal. That shows their adaptability as players, and it shows their ability to hold that line. So yeah, I would go with those two, I think. Plus, Kling did save us from losing to Sweden, so there's that too.
Yeah, Kling, it's funny. I feel like you stole it right out of my notes. I was actually going to mention her. I felt like she took so much heat earlier on from all of us, well, a lot of people. I remember at one point I was with the KO crowd, and I said, skip it. Just keep Kling out there. Let the back line get consistency and play together, because she's not changing, so get used to Kling out there. And then she had a great, real consistent, great World Cup. I wasn't mad at her at all. I thought she should have got more props from people, especially the ones that just wanted her off the team completely, because it wasn't even about being on the bench. They wanted her off the team completely. So she's a player who definitely, now I would, next games against some tougher competition or in the next Algarve Cup, if we're looking forward to that, have her right out there, because Kling, she earned her place. Mad props to Kling for what she did out there. Well,
mad props to the entire defense. They really brought to life the fact that defense wins you championships. They virtually brought that phrase to life. Up until the end, yes, when we had an offensive onslaught that, seemed to have not been there the entire tournament. But that entire back four, we mentioned all four of them. You could just give MVP to all four of them.
Yeah, so defense deserves MVP. Now we have to talk about the sad point. We have to talk about players that kind of disappointed. We will start with you, Graham. What player kind of disappointed you this World Cup?
Player that disappointed me this World Cup. I wouldn't say disappointed. I had hoped for a little bit more from Abby Wambach. And that's me knowing that she's going out soon and knowing that she really wanted it. I don't think she disappointed me. I just wanted more for her, and I know she was capable of more.
Speaking of Abby Wambach, let's go over to Karen. What player disappointed you this World Cup?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually gonna agree 100% with Graham. I wanted a lot more out of Abby because I'm such a huge Abby fan. I wanted at least she got that goal against Nigeria, and that was a sick, like, world-class goal. It was awesome. But I do think a lot of it was that she did start sitting on the bench a little bit more. And I said, like, I thought that was going to be the case. I thought that should be the case. And I know that Abby hates sitting on the bench, and everybody hates having Abby on the bench because she's loud. But she's a powerful force when she goes on the field. And I think she took that with her. Even in the last, 15 minutes that she was on in the game yesterday, she took that power onto the field with her, and yeah, she didn't get any goals, but you could just feel like the audience was so revved up from the first half. They were just like, and it was like if you listen to your TV, it was just a constant barrage of like loudness from the audience, which is awesome. But when Abby just got up from the bench, all of a sudden the TV was just like blaring with like the sound of the audience. I could barely even hear the commentators, and I was watching on my TV. Like, that's how crazy it gets when Abby goes onto the field. So I was happy for her in that respect, but I did expect more, I guess, from her. And I mean, it's the same thing with Hope Solo. I expected her to have to make a lot more saves than she did, but that's all credit to the defense.
Yeah, there was a point where oh man, my freaking volume muted. 1 second. Oh, my volume. Okay, my volume's not muted anymore. Yeah, and there was a point where they didn't need Hope Solo anymore because nothing was getting past that defense. Jack, some player who disappointed you this World Cup?
Not one player. I'd say a line would be my forward line. Unfortunately, they just only 3 goals for 3 forwards. And Christian Press's goal didn't even come when she was playing the forward position. It came when she was playing the midfield position. So if you don't want to count that, I don't blame you. I wanted to see more from all of them. I think going into this tournament, everyone expected the top line to be the best line. They expected the forward line to be the deepest line, to be dynamic, to be strong. You expected more, like you guys said, of Abby Wambach, who chose to sit out this NWSL season in preparation for this World Cup. I think we just expected more from all of our forwards, and unfortunately we didn't get it. Granted, towards the end of the tournament, we were only playing 1 forward up top, in Alex. I did want to get another goal from her. She looked dangerous at times, just wasn't able to find the back of the net with clinical finishing. But Christian Press, unfortunately, was not used in the right formation where she could be effective. Sydney Leroux had very few minutes. I think she only got into 1 game. Someone correct me if I was wrong, but she may have only gotten into 1 or 2 games at best. Abby Wambach, like you guys have said, just a little ineffective. You wanted a goal for her so bad, just wasn't happening. And A-Rod, she had 2 good games, one where she started, one where she subbed in, and she looked pretty good, applied some high pressure, and had her chances in front of net, but again, just couldn't finish. So I'm hoping that with time here, the forwards can maybe start finding the back of the net a little bit more, maybe in this victory tour. I'm hoping A-Morgs can pop in a few there, because she's so close. And for a forward coming back from injury, the last thing to come back is your finishing ability. And that was all that was missing from her. But the forward line overall was just a little bit of a disappointment for me.
Let's see, Jennifer, any disappointments?
You know, I was originally going to say Alex Morgan. Like, I'm sitting here thinking about it, listening to everybody else talk, and I was originally going to say Alex Morgan. But then I thought about all of the chances that she made. She may not have put anything really spectacular into the back of the net, but she made a whole lot of chances up top, and I think that speaks a lot as well. So I'm actually going to go with Lauren Holiday. You know, up until the game against Germany, Lauren Holiday just had a rough time. She's normally so spot on. Like, we can always rely on Lauren Holiday to switch the field when we need to get those crosses where we need them, to do whatever she needs to do. And, you know, normally that's, like I said, getting those crosses across, switching the field. doing corner kicks, and she wasn't doing any of them. So that was kind of disappointing for me. Like I said, up until the Germany match. In the Germany match, she came forward a little bit more. I don't know if it was because she had to sit on the bench in the game prior. But yeah, yesterday and the game against Germany were the first times that I had really seen her step up and take action. So for me, it was Lauren Holiday.
And let's go with Jay.
For me, it was a combination of Joe Ellis, Christian Prest, and Lauren Holiday.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I'm secretly happy that you said Jill Ellis. Like, I'm just gonna say it right now, because as soon as you said that, I was like, okay, someone said it. I don't feel bad.
Well, here's my reasoning. I think as the tournament went on, the players got better, and Jill Ellis actually got better as well with her formation and the way she kind of viewed the game and our team as a whole. And Kristen Prest, I thought she would get more minutes. Unfortunately, she did not, but she did score, so I guess credit to her. And then Lauren Holiday, this is speculation, but I don't think she'll be playing next year.
Yeah, a little rumor.
But he was definitely, for me, she hasn't played well in months. She had a few, I think, assists, and then, of course, that goal yesterday. But other than that, really a different Lauren Holiday that I don't ever want to see again. But, yeah, those three really, for me, a bit underwhelming, yeah.
Only person I can say really isn't a person that played underwhelmingly. Just want to see more Mayo. I mean, I felt like there was at times in those early games she could have made a real impact, and I think we only got really a small little taste of her. And after that, we never saw much of her again. So.
Well, I think that's also formation changes. So that goes back to Ellis. When you change the formation, she got to sit back and let Lloyd go in higher into the attack. And so I think when it did change, she did. I think it was more suited for her. But yeah, she played well in 3 games, really, in my opinion. So.
All right. Speaking of Jill Ellis, let's get on to Jill Ellis. What were our expectations of her? Did our opinions change of her? Do we think she's a world-class coach right now, or do we still think she's the fumbling, bumbling Ellis that kind of fell into it when you got 2 yellow cards and had to make some substitutions? Let's start with you, Graham. Your thoughts on Jill Ellis, the legendary World Cup coach? Yep.
We got the 3rd star under her. She was, I mean, going off of what Neil and I said last week, or no, not even last week, a couple of days ago, she was thrown into this role. She's still learning this role. She's a puppy growing into her paws, and she is doing just fine. She got the win. She's figuring out she's figuring out the formations a lot better. She's learning about these players and where they want to play and where they thrive at playing, and it's a growing process as anything. And to be still number 1 in the world in that growing process is not a bad thing. So, Jill Ellis, she's going to be around for a while, I think. I don't see her going anywhere. The players are warming up to her, I think, too. This World Cup definitely helps with that. Yeah. I'm behind Ellis, and I miss Neil right now because he'd be behind me saying the same thing. I'm just talking to a bunch of haters.
We're going to try to get Neil on next week so you all can talk about Jill Ellis together and love each other for all that good stuff.
Shout out to you, Neil. We need you.
Jack, your thoughts on Jill Ellis?
I'm a little torn. First of all, I have to give a shout out. Anyone that's been that's on Tumblr and has been following Jill Ellis's diaries.
Yeah.
Whoever made that account, who's ever following that account, bless you. You've been providing me constant laughter throughout this tournament, poking a little bit of fun at Jill Ellis, though we have to talk about the fact that Jill Ellis did win us a 3rd star. Graham is totally right in that, so you have to give her credit. Barely a year into this role, and she did bring us a World Cup. So you have to give her credit for that. My criticism of Jill Ellis is kind of split. Yes, it took her almost a year now to find the proper formation and the proper lineup and a system that works, and I think part of it came kind of by accident in the fact that Rapinoe and Holiday did not play. But my credit to Ellis, and the reason I'm not going to pick on her too much or anything, is because once that formation took hold and once she found the puzzle and how it fit together, after that I think she was a man. Just enough tweaks and twerks in between games to win us that World Cup. I think everything up until the someone remind me, what game did Holiday and Rapinoe miss?
China game.
Thank you. Everything up into the China game, I was still skeptical of Ellis. And then once that China game happened and she was forced to make those changes, she stumbled upon the correct formation, the correct lineup, and since then, everything worked in her favor, and she made all the right moves after the fact. So I'm a little torn on her. I think going forward, she'll be a better manager. But like Graham said, you have to give her credit the fact she gave us a 3rd star. She brought home the World Cup. So.
All right, so no one's gonna rip Ellis right now. Okay. Let's go with Jen. Your thoughts on Ellis? Oh.
Yeah, I haven't very much. There's a weird echo going on right now. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. Yeah, keep talking. Yeah. So I haven't had a beef with Ellis since she started. Okay, apparently Jack was the problem down there. All right, it's much better now that I can't hear myself. So, anyway, Ellis, yes. I haven't had too much beef with her. I think I said it a couple of days ago or whenever I was on last, that her record is fantastic. You know, you look at her on paper, and now it's 29 wins. So, you know, that record looks great. My one problem with Ellis, I think, and I think she's figured it out now, but it was a problem for a while, was she wasn't letting the players be creative on the field. She kind of had in her mind what role they were going to play, and she put them out there with that role. I remember Tobin Heath saying, I forget what game it was, where she got subbed in, that initially she was supposed to go in and make something happen and make a difference, and then Jill Ellis switched the role on her and said, nope, never mind, I just need you to hold down the fort. And that, for me, takes a little bit away from the players. It takes away from their ability to be creative on the field and do what they do. And so that for me was a little bit painful, and you could definitely see it. I mean, you could see it in the way that they were playing, that they weren't able to really be themselves out on the field. But I think she's figured that out now, because we saw a lot of that creativity yesterday. So I think now she's more of, all right, you guys go do what you need to do, win it for us. And, you know, that's the philosophy. I hate to say it, but that's the philosophy that Pia had. And Pia had great results with our team. So I think as long as Jill Ellis lets the players do what they do, they're world-class players, you can't beat that.
So, Karen, are you going to rip Ellis, or are you proud of the 3rd star too much to rip her?
Well, I'm super proud of the 3rd star, obviously, but to echo what Jackie and Jen said, basically, the same thing that Jen said especially is, you know, she definitely was, I think, excuse me, she was stymieing them a little bit. I think making Carly and Lauren Holiday play right next to each other and not giving Carly that forward or the freedom to go forward was a mistake, and it ended up causing her to give the ball away. And same thing with Lauren Holiday; she was giving the ball away. Once they took Bryan out of the flank, put her in the middle, and then let Carly move up. Carly was scoring goals. She was playing with confidence. So, I mean, just using Carly as an example, that was just something that happened in that China game when I think Ellis really figured out all of this experimenting that she was doing that was making some of us a little bit crazy. Like, I was getting a little bit crazy. All of the experimenting that was going on, she really figured it out. And then she stuck with it, and I thought it was really cool that she threw KO in there. I think credit to Jealous for just taking AO, who was a defense player, and throwing her into the midfield and just letting her go. Because look, she scored a goal. She was like on fire that entire game, and then when she came in yesterday, she was on fire again. So credit to Jill Ellis for that. She could have put in anybody else, but she chose KO, and I think that was a good decision. And I'm not biased or anything, but
just a little
bit biased. But yeah, I think as a whole, the tournament was just like she wanted the team to do. She started out a little bit slow, and then she got better as it went on, which is all I can ask for the team and for the coach. And just on a personality level, I think she looked a little bit nervous, like she was like guarding herself a little bit, and then those last 2 games, she just like exploded. She was like jumping around, she was cheering, she was so excited, and then she's also, I think she's world class, because if you look at all of her interviews after the game, she puts all of the credit onto the players, and she takes absolutely nothing for herself. And she also had that quote that was, it was for all of the little girls out there who dream about this. She said stuff like that numerous times, and so that definitely took her from like, she's pretty cool, she's awesome, to like super awesome for me.
All right, nice. Well, I got attacked by fangirls for talking about Ellis, so I'm about to go in on Ellis real quick. You know what, Ellis, this is all I'm going to say. You were 2 yellow cards, and I ran Pony from ruining this whole thing. So let's move on. Overall performance of the team in the World Cup. Graham, your thoughts on the overall team performance?
Sloppy, good, better, best.
Right.
What a sweet.
Pretty much describes the whole game.
Yeah, it almost seems like they were trolling everybody, like, oh, we're going to be terrible, it's so bad. Oh, we're coming out of it a little bit, joke's on you, and here we are, and you know what, we're actually going to try this game, so we're still the best in the world. And that's how I feel the tournament for the United States went. Scary, edge of my seat, and then when it came down to the most anticipated game, it was just like, I can go home after 10 minutes. I don't need to see the rest of this game. I know how it's going to end. So, very impressed, and I'm very excited to see the Olympics in 2 years, to see where they're at then as a team, to see the chemistry, and I'm looking forward to the victory tour.
Yeah, for me, the whole thing was just my ideas on it, really. It was, the team looked horrible to really start off. They were getting their victories, but it wasn't creativity. I mean, balls bouncing off Australians and going in, you can't say really took a lot of skill, a little bit more luck. And the defense was always there. It was attacking creativity. Then after the China game, we started to look like a real complete team. And then once the team was complete, we were unstoppable. So it was ugly to watch at first. Keywords, long ball, boring, and horrible a lot of times, I think, are words we use a lot. Long ball, yeah, we use that long ball word. And then afterwards, once we started to decide to play real football, we actually looked pretty good. So
then Carly Lloyd changed the definition of long ball.
She made me like the word after. I was like, oh, I like long balls now. That was cool, Carly. Thanks. Karen, your thoughts on the overall team performance this World Cup?
Yeah, they started out really stressing me out. Even with a 3-1 win, I was stressed, because I was like, this is not the type of performance that is going to beat a team like France, a team like Germany, a team like Japan. We're not going to beat teams like that with performances like this. And then we tied Sweden, and I was like, I don't know, we could have definitely beaten Sweden, and that's fine. Tying is fine, it's not a loss. But then beating Nigeria 1-0, I was like, nah, Nigeria is great, they're great, but they really should not be losing to us only 1-0. That's not how it should be going. But then group stages were over, and then we started really finding ourselves, and I think, honestly, those 2 the yellow cards for Rapinoe and Holiday were such a blessing. Somebody was looking out for us or something, because I honestly wonder if she would have figured any of that out if she hadn't had to take them out. I don't know. I want to give her credit and say that she would, but I don't know if she would, honestly. So once that happened, it was smooth sailing, honestly. I mean, I was still stressed because obviously I wanted them to win, but it was a lot more fun watching them once they beat China. It was so much more fun watching them play because you could tell that they were having fun. And I really loved the fact that she changed the 4-4-2. Everybody was like, she's not going to change it. And I was like, yes, she's going to change it. She changed it. And it was a miracle. It was awesome to watch play. It was, and yesterday was just like a dream come true. I have never been so calm and also like excited and dizzy at the same time while watching a soccer game. Like I've always been like stressed and dizzy. But if we don't win, I'm gonna die. Like,
but I want to feel dizzy watching a game.
I was so dizzy because I kept jumping around and like screaming, and I was like looking down at my phone and then looking up, and it was just bad. It was bad, but it was good at the same time. I can't even describe it.
I actually changed locations during the game. I was so confident that we were going to win. After 20 minutes, this watch party is really great and all, but there's a lot of people here, and I want to sit down.
I should have done that. Now, Jack, let's go to you. What are your expectations for the next team?
For what?
What are your expectations for the next 4 years with this U.S. Women's National Team?
Oh man. Well, hopefully there's a method to Jill's madness, and she kind of keeps it like it is. And yeah, like you said, the last 2 games are really exciting. So I think our youth is really important. It really showed this World Cup. But I think in France in 2019, I mean, the possibilities are unlimited, I think, for our team. And if we have a player like Crystal Dunn come in, because we have, Boxu, Wambach, Rampone, and I don't know who else, they're already gone already. So it's down to, Dunn might make the roster. We don't know.
She better. That's no lie.
Morgan Bryan, Klings. It's just all these players who really stepped up. I don't know. It's going to be really exciting to see where we are in 4 years. So, yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, I said we really can prepare for the U.S. Women's National Team to have their little youth movement. I put down a couple names like Tim Rack, Groom, Killian, Mewis, Ohai, Dunn, Captain Brune, Lindsey Horn if she doesn't get blackballed any longer by U.S. Soccer. McCaffrey might get a shot. So, there's so many young players that I'm looking forward to, especially Horn. You all are blackballing her. We'll talk about that, actually. That's a good subject to talk about down the road.
Nice.
Yeah. So, there's so much young talent. If you get these players are going to get their call-ups now. After we do this little championship tour or whatever you want to call it, let's start getting the call-ups for these young players and getting them in because they are the future. We don't need to be running these players out here that are going to be 33, 34, and we won't see again after probably, 2 years or next year. Yeah. Jen, what is your thoughts on the future of this team?
We have an interesting thing coming up next year, actually, with the Olympics. We dropped from a 23-player roster to an 18-player roster. So I'm actually wondering if there are going to be any call-ups for that because we have players retiring, we have players shifting, we have people going places, possibly getting pregnant, according to the rumors. So, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if anybody even gets a call-up for that. So I think we'll just kind of hold our own for the next year or so and kind of ride with the team we have. And then after that, I'd like to see Ellis bringing in the new players because we do go back up to a 23 roster at that point. So I'd like to see, obviously Crystal Dunn, being a Spirit fan, she's been phenomenal for us all season. I definitely think she deserves a call-up. There are a lot of other young players that deserve it. And I think it was Ari. What was that?
Sofia Huerta. She's going to be on the roster. I guarantee it.
Woo!
She doesn't need her call up. Yeah, she needs a call up too.
Yeah.
Go Broncos.
Let's go for Grubka. Let's get Grubka a call up,
Yeah. There are a lot of really deserving players. And, I think it was Ari Hanks the other day watching one of the pregame shows that said modern soccer has shifted, where you need players that are like a Morgan Bryan now that can play in a variety of positions and still do well. And our veterans are kind of held to their one position. So with them shifting out, it's going to be interesting to bring in these players that are so good at adaptability and moving where they need to be and getting the job done no matter what. So I definitely see some young blood coming in, and I see our team getting kind of like a refresh, like an oil change or something.
Yeah, they will need a little oil change. You know, it's like a rusty old car right now. It pushed its way through the finish line because they threw a new engine in there real quick at times with KO and like A-Rod at points and other things. But now we're going to need to get, you know, some tune-ups, maybe get a whole body fixed on it a bit. That boy back there for the Olympics, and let's see what happens. You know, nice little Mustang, 76 or something. Well, that's what's going to happen with this team. All right, guys, let's just look at the whole World Cup. Final thoughts on the World Cup teams you like. There are other things you're hoping for. We will go with you, Graham. Final thoughts.
I don't have the words to say. I mean, it was such a roller coaster of emotions, and it ended in the best possible way ever. I cannot wait for France come 2019. I'm going to see a lot more Kristen Press come then, I hope. She deserves a lot more playing time, and I think she'll be very crucial come then. But I cannot wait for the Olympics. I cannot wait for these big tournaments now coming up with the performance that they've had against Japan. I'm really upset that the World Cup is over because of that. And, high hopes for the team. And overall, love the World Cup.
The only Jackie that is left. Any teams impress you? Last thoughts on the World Cup?
First I'm going to say, it took 16 years to have this amazing team win. It's a great feeling as a fan since I was, watching the 99 team win. So this was really special, I think, for all the fans, old fans, new fans. The World Cup was fantastic, I thought. I think England and Switzerland actually are two teams to watch in the next few years. I really, really enjoy watching both those teams. I'm really, happy and proud and just, there's really not words to describe, what this means for women's soccer here in the States and everywhere. I think it's a massive step, and, it's 25 million watched it, so hopefully they stay for a while.
Gian, what are your thoughts on England? Is that a team to watch for, or are there other teams you think we should look for in this World Cup 2019? Yeah.
England, thorn in my side. Yeah. As much as I need to admit it, like they do have really good young players that are going to continue to develop. It physically hurt me saying that. My team of the Cup, I was kind of disappointed they didn't go further, but my team of the Cup was France. I think they're another team that has a lot of good young players. They're developing. They're going to come into their own. They're the host country next time around, obviously. I was watching France this whole Cup, and I'm going to continue to watch them. I was really impressed with them. Even back to the Algarve Cup, I was impressed by them. And speaking of that, we are officially now the first team to win both the Algarve Cup and the World Cup in the same year.
And they said it couldn't be done.
I know, right?
They did.
The first person to score a hat trick and the fastest one in World Cup final history. So all the records, America.
America.
I guess I should say it too, America. There we go. Continue. It's an England hat, don't you see? Now, Karen, your final thoughts.
I'm really excited for next year. After watching that final yesterday, I can't wait. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, but I can't wait to see who's on the roster, who's not on the roster, if there are people that we haven't even heard of, which isn't likely, but still, if there are people that we haven't even heard of that end up on that roster.
Not even born yet.
If Crystal Dunn makes the roster this time, that would be awesome to see. And I'm excited also to see France, to see what the England coach is. I don't know his name now. It starts with an S. Thank you. to see what he does with the England team. I want to see Australia. That's going to be exciting to see.
Australia. Yeah.
Get in there. And also Switzerland was super exciting to see. And then any of the what did they call it? They used the debutante teams. I want to see if any of them make it onto the Olympics and see how they perform coming off of their performance in the World Cup. So that's going to be exciting. And I'm just so happy. I can't even. I'm like, there's like little like hearts and stars and things coming out of my head right now. You can't see, but they're there. I'm ecstatic. I can't even tell you how ecstatic I am right now. Still.
Well, feelings too. All right. Sounds good to me. Lucky Charms. My thoughts. There was a lot of fun teams to watch. I mean, Nigeria was fun until they burned out near the end of the World Cup. England, as you said, it was a great team to watch. I hope you all continue to follow England, continue to follow this show as we promote. I mean, they were a fun team to watch, and they have a bunch of young players. What am I talking about with this hat on my head? So just follow them, people. They might be something to watch in 2019. France, major disappointment, but, I mean, look at their draw. We should have talked about the seeding a lot more since France complained about that, how they ended up playing Germany, but yeah, that's the way it goes. But that was the major thing that actually, I think, Abelie talked about it a lot, so that was kind of weird. Germany, maybe with their young players to develop, so they'll be a lot tougher team. USWNT team, we're going to come back a younger team, but hopefully they get enough playtime where they have a great chemistry, and they might actually put up another good fight with a young team. So it's going to be fun to watch to see where they end up. Other than that, Australia is going to be a team to be like they're right near the finals or semifinals because they're going to be a young team that actually is not as young as they probably will be by age because they have got so much experience. They'll be in their third World Cups, a lot of those players, and probably only about 26, 25. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch. Overall, I like the whole World Cup. Wasn't much. There wasn't a lot to complain about. I know a lot of people complain about the refs and other things like that, but I didn't complain much. I just tried to enjoy the games as much as I could. Hopefully, a lot of these teams get better facilities and a lot better funding now that they did get to play in the World Cup, and some advancing farther than they probably thought they would have, like a Cameroon or something like that. Better just, ideas of how to develop their players and stuff so that they come back as stronger teams. I would hate to see a lot of these teams, programs still falter or be at the same position they were in a few years. And once again, it was great to have a World Cup in Canada. It basically was like a lot of home games for the U.S. women's national team. We all enjoyed it, I know by far. I remember everyone was talking about it 2 years or a year before it actually came. So I think a lot of that went, and there's not much else to really say about it. It was overall a great thing for us. That's it for Off the Post, actually. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm supposed to tell the winner of that one contest from that Jen Cooper is going to give you a World Cup what do they call those things?
Program, Dwayne.
Program, whatever. I'm not winning it, so who cares? And so the winner is Nikki Campbell. You won. Congratulations.
Yes,
You're the closest person to the score. You predicted 4-2, so you actually won. Message me back because I'm trying to give you something free. So,
you have to talk to Dwayne in order to win things.
It's like this issue. We're having this issue again, people. But I actually told you won. You just haven't checked your stuff yet. So get back to me, and we will get that out to you somehow. Other than that, I'm guessing we're all good for the day. We've all ranted about stuff. Be sure to tune in this Wednesday it's probably not going to be a lot of you watching at 2:30. After we record it, we're going to have all the internationals on. We're going to have people from Ireland, people from Scotland, one person from America, and I'm going to be there hosting it for some reason. And we're going to talk about the World Cup overall, just our view of the different teams in the World Cup. And then next week we'll jump back to the NWSL stuff where Graham will be back and maybe a few others. We'll see. I'm your host, DJ Redcat Fred Durst. I survived the World Cup, and I live to tell about it. Next year we'll talk about the Olympics if this show is still around. Yeah, we probably will. So we'll be talking Olympics next year. Oh, it's going to be a mess, Olympics. Okay. That chat is funny. I guess I have to strip now, too. So we're going to do this now. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. I'll take care. Bye-bye. I can't get it off.